Sea of Thieves is a game that has drawn some controversy over the past week or so since its release. Basically, there's a lot about the game that people like, and there's also a lot of things that people don't like about the game. To discuss this, I'm Ben, I'm joined by Kieran, we're both from NGB, and here is our top 10 things that we'd like to see in Sea of Thieves. Number 10 is factions. So, Kieran, you've put this list together for us, and factions is basically elaborating on the 3 existing factions, I guess.
Yes, yeah. It was actually, to be fair, it was a suggestion from Andy in our NGB chat. But yeah, it was basically just extending those. But maybe you pledge an alliance to one of them.
Yep.
There could be one that's sort of set on protecting people, and then another that's set on sort of plundering people, stealing all their stuff, things like that. So it'd be quite a cool way of just spicing things up a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think as well, you know, if you have your factions, a bit like the faction war in Destiny, but maybe a more permanent thing where you have your guys, you tell them, or, you know, they tell you, go over there and you'll get faction bonuses and things like that. I know that kind of exists already in the game, but I think elaborating on it a bit more and making it a bit more than, you know, you can now buy certain items with different skins on and stuff like that might be a probably better way to do it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Okay. Number 9, we have tiered security levels. So you actually came up with this suggestion, which I think is borderline perfect for what I'd like to see from Sea of Thieves. This is an idea where essentially the ocean becomes quite similar to EVE Online's Galaxy, I guess, really. And essentially what it would mean is if you want to just sail around with your mates for a bit, you can do. If you want to jump into a bit of an area that's probably maybe a bit more PvP, then you can do that. And of course, if you want to just be an absolute dick and go and, you know, have a massive war with everybody, then you can do. Your thinking behind this then, just go ahead with that, because I think the EVE Online area is fantastic, and, you know, in terms of the way that it's implemented.
Yeah, so EVE Online split up with the you have like high sec, mid sec, and low sec. So high sec will you don't want to aggressive people in there, because then you will get absolutely destroyed by the sort of like the authorities in that area. But you can then sort of like start delving into the sort of low sec where you'd get away with actually ganking people and destroying them. But it'd be quite a nice way of just separating the map up and splitting it up, and then people have an option to potentially go in there and just kill a load of people, or just keep it safe and just enjoy themselves. Yeah,
I mean, I think even if they had, you know, the same map but in a high sec, low sec area, then you could potentially jump across them if you wanted to just, you know, sail the seas and see the whole lot without actually getting shanked. But that'd be quite an interesting one.
Yeah, it'd be cool.
Next up, at number 8, we have what I have determined the Sea Police. So essentially, a bit like the GTA police. If you piss people off too much in a certain area, then you'll get this AI faction coming after you, or the Navy coming straight for you to try and take you out. I think that could add a good little element into it, because I think at the moment, if you don't encounter anybody, if you don't encounter like another player in the world, it can be a bit of a lonely experience.
Yeah, definitely. I think there's something to be said about the just sailing around on your own, but it'd be quite cool to just see sort of AI ships floating around, and then you could think, actually, I might be a bit of a dick here and take on the Sea Police, and then it could open up these like little battles and things like that. But also, again, I guess it kind of feeds into the previous point. It adds that extra security incentive, so people could just sort of like sail around and keep cool, and it stops people from getting ganked all the time. Yeah,
that's a pretty. I think that's a good idea, actually, in terms of, you know, having more things around in the ocean, because obviously it's, you know, quite a lonely place at times. Okay, number 7, we have a risk reward type thing is what we've said, but a kind of more secure outposts and we'll come on to this a bit later on as well. But yeah, more secure outposts that would give you a higher payout, I guess. So if you attended one with, say, a captain's chest, you'd get more gold for trading in the captain's chest. But at the same time, you could potentially get, shot or stabbed or taken out by either skeletons or other players or, another faction. Something along those lines.
Yeah, it sort of adds just a bit more variety to the outposts. So it's a case of you might go to one and it could be like plagued with pirates, but you're going to get such a good reward for that. So it's like, well, do I do that at the risk of dying? But then, yeah, it's just a nice sort of variation.
Yeah, absolutely. Number 6, we've sort of touched on it a little bit already, but AI factions. I think AI factions would be a very good addition to this. If you're sailing around the world and then you've got 2 AI factions that are against each other, so you could have let's just think we could have like the East India Company or something like that, or somebody similar, and then you could have another pirate faction coming in that's exclusively AI, that then they get into a fight with each other, or you then team up with one of them and take the other team out, and it could play in quite well with the general factions in the game. So if there's exclusively like an AI faction or 2.
Yeah, it'd be really cool, and it'd be quite nice if there was some way of maybe doing like a notice to everyone in the game. I don't know how they would do this, but sort of saying, "Oh, your faction's under attack," or "There's a battle out at sea," and then everyone would go and like support their sides that they've pledged allegiance to, and then there could just be these big battles in the middle. Where I guess it entices that sort of more player interaction and things, even though it is sort of AI as well. But yeah, I think that'd be quite cool to play around with that. That'd be pretty sweet. Yeah,
I like that idea quite a lot. Next up at number 5, this is a suggestion from Gary. We sort of put the question out to the team. He just said Jack Sparrow. I just want Captain Jack Sparrow in the game.
Valid point.
Yeah, might be a bit of licensing to work out with Disney, but I think kind of having pirates from history might be a good thing to do in general. Obviously, Jack Sparrow is going to be a bit of a tough sell.
Yeah.
With Disney being quite restrictive about their licenses and all the rest of it. But I think having not necessarily, tons and tons of them, but the odd kind of quote real life pirate pop up, I think that could be quite cool. As like a legendary pirate or something like that. You've got to, if you can, almost a bit like a raid, I guess, if you can take out their ship or, something like that, that might be quite a cool little mechanic in the game that they could put in.
Yeah, again, it's just another way of spicing things up a bit, isn't it? And add a bit more variety there. But yeah, it'd be nice to have some sort of real life pirates to go against.
Absolutely.
You could even get titles and things like that. It could feed into that. So you get a title of someone who's taken down Jack Sparrow,
the Sparrow Slayer, or something like that.
Yeah.
No, that's a cool idea. I like that idea of just having more named NPCs in the game. In addition to that, in terms of more variety, number 4, we've got some more random events. So obviously, a lot of people have encountered the Kraken. The Kraken has taken them down. They've taken it out. We have yet to do either. But I feel that there is probably more to it than just having the Kraken. What do you think they could add in terms of random events? Because that's one of the coolest things about Destiny. If you don't know what's happening, if you think back to if you think back to the first Destiny, you've got if you're randomly walking along the world, and then all of a sudden like the sky goes dark, and you think what the hell's going on, and then all of a sudden, bang, you've got an event where there's other people just sort of swarming in. I think random events and making them kind of public events as well, I think is a really good way to go forward with it. I mean, what would you like to see in terms of that?
Yeah, definitely. To be fair, there was something I saw online. Someone suggested like a ghost ship or something like that, a ghost pirate ship or something, and it just comes in through the fog or something like that. That'd be quite cool. But even if it wasn't it doesn't necessarily have to be this big grandiose thing like the Kraken. I was thinking maybe even little things like you're just sailing along and then there's a shipwreck, and then you see sort of like some people in the sea just floating around, and you can maybe pick them up and take them to an outpost to save them.
That's a good idea.
I guess that's more. Well, it bears similarities to GTA's random events, where there's just people, and Red Dead did it as well. Where there's just people out in the desert, and you just not in the desert, you know.
Yeah, it's like the Strangers and Freaks or whatever.
Yeah, things like that would be quite cool. But then it could be a similar thing where you go to a shipwreck and then you rescue these people, but it turns out actually they were pirates and they try to overthrow you, and just mixing things up and add a bit more variety.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good shout actually. Like again, there's a bit more like risk reward and stuff like that. Yeah, that's pretty good. So next up, we've got a suggestion from Johnny, which is Wales. So not the free-to-play style, although as we've talked about privately, we've said that there may well end up being some whales in the game when they introduce the microtransactions and stuff. But Johnny just wants to see some big-ass mammals in the sea.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean me when I fall off a boat. It's more marine life would be quite cool. I don't think I've seen anything, at the minute where it like jumps out the water and kind of almost like dolphins swimming along the side of your ship, stuff like that. That could be quite nice.
Yeah, that was very nice. It did it well in Assassin's Creed, didn't it, with whales? They had to hunt them and kill them, which is a little bit harsh.
It's a little bit cruel.
Yeah, but no, it's nice, yeah. Just to see stuff like that as you're sailing around.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that would be a really good thing to put in, just more marine life in general. Number 2, we have private games. So private games, obviously, due to the overwhelming server load at the minute, is probably not going to be something that they could implement, but it's definitely something that I think some people are kind of crying out for. Like, they just want to be able to sail the seas on their own with a couple of mates and, not necessarily get into griefing wars and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's just a nice way to just relax with your friends and just potter around on the sea. Yeah, without caring the world. Lovely.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I'd probably be into that, to be honest. I've had a couple of games where I've played solo and I've not really bumped into anybody else, and I've actually really enjoyed my time with the game. It's it's quite nice when you do run into somebody else and you have that little standoff moment where you're like, are we going to kill each other? Are we going to? No, it's okay. He's on his own as well. He doesn't want to get involved in this. It's all good.
Yeah, I do like that.
Yeah, so that's quite cool. And the idea of private games is something that I think would be quite nice. Maybe if, even if they had it so that you didn't have as much reward from your chests and things like that, I think that could be quite a nice way to, get people into the game and get people playing it and not getting the shit kicked out of them at every possible moment.
Yeah, it could also be used as sort of like a tutorial in a way, because the game obviously tells you nothing. So you could just get used to everything, ease yourself in, and then when you're ready, go into the big world against something else. Yeah,
absolutely. I think that's a really good shout. A tutorial, I think, is probably needed in the game, but if they can wrap it up in this, if they can wrap it up in the form of like a private game or something along those lines with more hints and stuff like that, I think they're onto a winner with that.
Yeah.
And finally, number 1 is by far our most requested feature when we've spoken about it as a team, is safe zones. Not necessarily making, half the sea so nobody can shoot you or anything like that, but even if they just add outposts as safe zones where, you can't be shot in PvP, I think that would be a really good idea. Obviously, I think, you're going to have to be careful about how you say it and how you implement it. But I think if you combined safe zones and, say, our number 9 suggestion, which was the tiered security, and number 7, which was the risk-reward stuff, I think if you had, like, an outpost that was, that was perfectly fine, that was, a safe zone, and you got 80% of the bounty, then you had a safe zone or an outpost that was for, I don't know, let's say solo or duo players only, something like that. You could then go and have the potential standoff of 2v2 or 1v1. you could have a final outpost, which would be, you know, like essentially a free-for-all. So you could go there on your own. You could get, you know, you could get jumped by 4 guys. You could lose all your chests. I think there needs to be something in there for people that don't necessarily want to get constantly trolled. And like I said, even if they did it where you had 80, 90, 100% reward tiers, depending on which level of safety you went to, that might work.
Yeah, definitely. And I think, obviously, the point of the game is it's all pirates and it's not meant to be very happy, but there are certain people who are not enjoying the game because they spend upwards of an hour doing these quests, finding chests, bring it back to the outpost, and then someone's camping on the beach and they kill them, and then cash it in. And that's just a kick in the nuts for anyone. So yeah, maybe not just do a blanket sweep and say everything's safe, like you say. Just have these like tiered areas where you can go, oh, actually, I've got this chest. I'm not going to get quite as much money, but I'll know I'm going to be safe if I go to this one. Or you think, actually, I'm just going to risk it. I'll go somewhere where I'll get all the money and just hope for the best. But again, it just adds a bit of an option there, and there's the fallback for people who just can't be doing with losing all their stuff that they've just collected. Yeah,
I think there needs to be a level of risk reward, and I think probably having safe areas for chests at, you know, a slightly lower cost, I think is probably a really good way of balancing that. Again, whether that's, you know, separate servers, whether that's going to be separate areas in the map, who knows? I mean, I think it would probably need a little bit of a tweak in terms of particularly the quests and the voyages. You know, if you get a voyage that's deep in, you know, the low security zone, if you like, that you're playing in fairly early, you might well end up getting absolutely hammered. Or you could just look at it and, you know, with a little icon on there saying high sec, low sec, or, you know, open. If you know that you're not going to go into the high security ones on your own, you could wait until you've got a crew of 4, something like that, you know, just to break it up a little bit and see what the best options for you are as you play.
Yeah, definitely.
So that is it, guys. That is our list of the 10 things that we would like to see in Sea of Thieves in future updates. If you're liking this video, please drop a like down below and also leave us a comment so that we can, you know, maybe you've got some suggestions of your own. Don't be an idiot. Don't just put like, delete the game, lol. You know, because that's not really helpful to anybody. But we actually really like Sea of Thieves here. There's a few of us playing it, and I think, you know, it's one of those games where we look at it and think, this could be really, really special. It's just that it's possibly released a little bit too soon, and there's not quite enough there to keep everybody coming back permanently.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. But largely, it's a positive game. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, I am really enjoying it. So I've been Ben, you have been Kieran, and I guess the folks watching it have been watching our video. So we will see you in the next one. Take care, guys, and goodbye.
Goodbye.